So, obviously, I'm doing the roles that when playing the military. Kind of comes down to 3 different parts that they've played, and it's what they've done in the past, what they're doing now, and what is their role in the future. So, to start it off, in the past, they've definitely played a part in the military, but it's never been a military part in the military. It's always been some type of 90% of it has been nursing, assisting dead or wounded, just helping out. There's always been religious, women figures, nuns, whatever, that have helped out in past military situations. But in the past, it's very rarely have we seen any actual any women in actual combat situations taking part in either side. That's an exception.
Quiet, please.
But in the past, between the 2 World Wars, over 80,000 women took part for the U.S. alone. That's both overseas and domestic. As I said before, it was mostly nursing and that type, but they've also done things like vehicle driving, pilots. That's more nowadays, though, but that continues on to nowadays. Nowadays, they've taken more of slightly more of a action role. Since 2002, there's been over 170,000 tours of duty served by women in both Afghanistan and Iraq. So that's a lot. And that's as, not just as nurses, but as part of mostly the Army, mostly non-infantry roles, things like pilots, drivers, gunners, that type of thing. But that's solely in the U.S. Places like Israel, they've taken a complete role. Like Israel, they're in dire need of any military support they can get because they're surrounded by their enemies nonstop. So women have taken a complete role. They're just as much in infantry military as anyone. So that leads to what probably the biggest part of this is what's going to happen to women in the future for militarily. For the U.S., it's whenever you look at infantry standpoint, there's no real indication that there's ever going to be that much of a woman's role in it. That's not sexist or anything. It's just comes down to the nature of the fact that military is being sectioned off. Infantry roles are being cut down every year. There's being less people in the field than there are, people behind computers doing some type of, a non-military role, or not military, infantry role. So, as that slims down, it comes to having and needing the best of the best whenever there is the need for actual infantry engagement, and that comes down to elites such as SEALs, Rangers, and the Marines, and that the Marines have actually allowed some women to attempt basic physical exams. They allowed around 20 to take it originally, and none of them came really even close. One came close, but she had to exit the exam because of a stress fracture that she had. But as anyone who's tried in that type of higher military extent have completely failed. Not to say that they can't be officers. There's plenty of women officers who are taking a higher role in the intelligence part of the military, and that's going to increase and continue to increase. But the actual influence of women in the infantry field is unless there's a large or some type of movement or something passed, it's just not going to happen because there's new facilities that need created for certain types of training, certain different trainings, because I mean it's just a different like body set too. I mean you just look at it physically, it's men and women are completely different, and that comes into the role of actual sexual harassment, which has been a big part of why women aren't more involved in the military, because sexual harassment is a big thing. It comes down to, Morgan's topic, but yeah, that's basically it. Oh, no, it's not. There was actually one of the articles that I cited. There was a captain in the Army who's a woman, Lauren Soranen, made a statement here that I'm going to read off, and I quote, "Keeping women out of military infantry isn't about gender oppression or oppressing, it's about maintaining the most effective military possible." And that is the general opinion of most trusted military advisors.